What's up, creeps? It's Jason. Of course, this is Riley, the rigor mortis mask, and today, oh boy,
My favorite killer.
this is your favorite killer. We're here for a Justin Mabry Cropsey. Ooh, look at this guy. Now, look, before we get into Cropsey, because this is your favorite killer. You
Yes.
love this, and this is, guys, you know Cropsey from the 1981 film The Burning, which we'll get into in a second. But did you know there was a real Cropsey killer? Actually, one that's sitting in jail today. Wait, what? I thought it was an urban legend.
Yeah.
Now, as Riley likes, he's probably the encyclopedia of masks, right? I don't want to say I'm the encyclopedia of urban legends, but I try to.
You know your stuff,
I
yeah.
try to study. And yeah. So let me rewind real quick, give you a little quick history lesson on who Cropsey is, and then we'll jump into this. I don't want to say beautiful. Yeah, I'll say beautiful piece.
He's something.
So back, this is go 1960s, 1970s, 1980s. Okay. Those decades, there were, just like anywhere, I guess, in America, kids disappeared, right? You end up on milk cartons. Remember the old milk cartons?
Yeah.
You may don't remember. You're a little young, but you know, you're picturing
yeah.
you're picturing up on a milk carton. You were somebody, right? You, I mean, not somebody, but you were kidnapped. You disappeared, and that was like the big thing. Well, kids were disappearing in Staten Island, New York, constantly, mainly mentally challenged kids and stuff like that, right? And so parents, this urban legend of this Cropsey killer that lived at this old abandoned insane asylum in the middle of the woods in Staten Island, which is true. There was one there. It's just a shell right now. And Cropsey would come out. If you stayed out too late, Cropsey would get you. You were out in the woods by yourself. Cropsey would take you and bring you into underneath this hospital. And he had a hook for a hand. He had an axe. You know, just typical urban legend stuff, right? Come to find out, it was kind of true. Yeah. There was a convicted sex offender named Andre Rand. That was he was convicted in the 70s and all this stuff, but you know, this is pre-DNA, so it was really hard to prove unless you had hard evidence. But kids kept appearing, not appearing, but they kept finding dead children around this hospital, or this old abandoned hospital, and in Staten Island. And so this whole legend came up. Finally, they kind of captured. They grabbed Andre Rand, realizing hey, this guy probably killed this kid. We can't really prove it, but we're going to throw him in jail for 25 years. And then he got convicted another 25 years. So basically, he's in jail for life, but he's still alive. The real Cropsey killer. Now, did he look like this? No. He actually kind of looked like, you remember, you guys watched our video, The West German Brute? Yeah, he actually looked like that. And I'll show a picture of him. He looks mean and ugly, man.
Yeah.
You know, it looks like he would abduct kids, right? So that's the real Cropsey killer. But let's talk about this Cropsey killer right here. What do we got, man?
So the Burning story starts in 1980.
Yes.
Friday the 13th came out, and it's a darn shame because I have a feeling that if the Burning came out first, it would have been on cereal boxes and masks and all that, because Jason took the spotlight of Cropsey.
Yeah.
The script for Friday the 13th wasn't finished before The Burnings was, but The Burning had a smaller budget, and Friday the 13th came out first.
Yeah.
And it hurts me every time. The other day was Friday the 13th, and I was just hurt because I'm like, it could have been Cropsey.
It could have been Cropsey.
And
this is a very underrated film, by the way.
The movie's fantastic.
Yeah.
I saw it was just snooping around in high school. I took a film class, and when I wasn't doing projects, I'd be finding these movies. And I've been wanting this mask since 2018 when Justin Mabry unveiled it at Mask Fest.
Yeah.
This mask is based off Tom Savini's sculpture of the Cropsey killer. He just wanted it be burned. He said he based it off of actual bodies he saw when he was in service, burned people, missing the lips, the nostrils. Yeah, he was a Vietnam vet. And I think he did an incredible job. I mean, because he didn't have pictures or anything. That was solely based off of what he had seen.
Memory, yeah.
And I think the receding lips and the no nostrils and those just cooked ears are just gnarly. And I just latched onto this guy when I first saw the movie.
A lot of people will look at this that don't know the Burning and be like, what kind of variant of Freddy Krueger is this? And it's like, this date's way pre Freddy Krueger, by the way, you know?
That's another thing that cripples me is Cropsey was the first burned boogeyman, you know?
Yeah.
And he was stealing dreams long before Freddy was. So the infamous Raft Massacre, this film is so great.
Yeah.
And the mold for this guy was actually destroyed. I believe they used an oven to make this mold, and I think it just burned up, and they only got like 3 pulls of the Cropsey prosthetic for Lou David. And so there's no such thing as a movie mold Cropsy, as much as I'd love that. But I'd say Justin Mabry has gotten as close as I say you could get in latex form. So
Definitely.
I think it's beautiful.
I love it too. I think I look at the sculpts, I look at the paint job on this thing. The eyes are very mesmerizing. I love. Very matte. So everything is very matte, which when you get a burn victim type of thing, everybody wants to just gloss it up, like Freddy, right? Gooey and all that stuff. But Justin did a good job where this thing's bone freaking dry until you get into the crevices and the eyes and the pulled up piece on his lips and all that stuff.
Skin grafts.
Yeah, skin grafts. So so very good contrast between the matte and the gloss, in my opinion. And of course, the paint job, it has depth. Once you get up close and you look and you'll see small veining and you'll see just kind of charred marks, but underneath the skin, like it's been grown over, like he was burned 10 years ago, and this is it. So those charred skin pieces are kind of just subterranean in the levels of skin layers, which are pretty cool. I sat there yesterday when you brought this in and just kind of examined it, and it's one of those pieces when you first see it, you're like, okay, whatever, it's good. But then you sit there and you work it and you go back and forth, and the more I was looking at it, the more detail I was seeing. So I spent 20 minutes looking at this mask. I look like an idiot. I'm just like, what are people doing? Like, I'm in love with it, make out with this thing. But it's funny because I just kept finding smaller pieces of stuff of depth that I really dug. And once again, we're talking Justin Mabry, guys. You're talking he's a co-founder, I guess, of Trick or Treat Studios and does pretty much at least half of their masks. I don't know, probably more than that, sculpts and all that stuff. So, and then he has his own line as well. So we'll talk about, man. So pretty cool stuff, man.
Yeah, it's definitely probably my favorite piece by Mabry. Next to that Gunther. I love that Gunther.
We've done a lot of Mabry on this show already.
Hey, I loved it so much that I got a wearable one.
Okay, look at this. So not only did you get one, this is your display copy.
Yeah.
No holes cut, nothing like this. You have a wearable one, which you just have one eye cut out, right?
And I didn't even have him cut the back. And the opening of this thing is about the size of my hand. And I still shimmy it over my head because I want it to look as authentic as possible, and I don't want my long blonde hair hanging out the back of the mask.
I got you, yeah. So, I mean, would you ever consider, because it's very hard to get a non-cut mask over your head, right? I mean, you were squeezing that thing on the other day, and I thought he was going to die.
Yeah.
But would you ever consider a Velcro strap or anything on the back of that?
Yeah, you could do that, but man, I love how it looks uncut like that,
It looks great. Yeah. No, it's amazing. But yeah, so I mean, this is once again, this is another Mabry special on this one, man, and which you're starting to become a huge collector of his stuff. Would you ever want to see a different variant of this at all, or is this the only one you want to see? In other words, because once you got burn victims, you can go crazy on this, right? You know how this is very, very similar to the actual 1981 film. Yeah. But would you ever want a more enhanced, like a modern version of this? Because this film was never
a modern movie.
Yeah.
Dude, I would love it.
Would you?
It's funny. I was talking to Jay yesterday, and I said I just want I want them to either remake or do something with Cropsy because he's just so unrecognized. And I thought. I said this example, the 2009 Friday the 13th, I love that mountain man, Jason. He's running, he's throwing axes and stuff like that. I want to see Cropsy take the bolt out of those shears and use them like swords,
Which is rad, because it's not too many killers who kill you with shears, you know what I'm saying?
Roy Burns, but they obviously copied Cropsy with that.
Right, absolutely. Which is cool, because they didn't stick to the actual urban legend, which he's supposed to have a hook hand and an axe and all that stuff. I like that they kind of went with a different tool set mainly on this one. And actually, he was burned in the movie, because in real life he's not burned. They burned in the movie by kids, in a prank and all this stuff. So
and that's why he comes back for vengeance. And all that, to get the kids.
Yeah, I don't think they made him as a child molester and all that stuff. But but it's
maybe future film.
That's true. They did that with Freddy and the remake and all that stuff. But fun, incredibly fun movie, extremely awesome mask. And like I said, how long did you wait for this?
So me and Mabry actually did a mask trade for some work, and I think it took about 7 months. But I mean, you imagine how busy Mabry is working the studio and all that. So I was completely fine with waiting that time. Yeah. Because you get the best result when you give their artist their amount of time,
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's when you're getting a custom mask made, and that's just something from two mask junkies here. Because I buy stuff from John Fuller, I buy them from all these different mask makers, and just don't expect it to come anytime soon. Let them do their stuff, because you rush them and that's the problem, right? So just expect like, hey, ask for a timeline. Hey, how long is it going to take? They'll say 2 to 3 months. Tack on a couple months on top of that, and then you'll never be disappointed on that. You know?
Artists have lives too, so I'm not barking up the tree, because I know they have lives, and these incredible pieces of art take time. So you let them take their time, you know?
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
So if I wanted to go to Night Owl Masks, right, which is Mabry's line, right, and I want to buy one of these, what am I going to pay for something like this? Because I know you did a trade deal and all this stuff, but me, I'm not in there with Justin. Call me, buddy, if you want to. I don't know. Anyway, but what would I be paying for something like this?
My guess would be anywhere from $300 to $350.
Okay.
He's very reasonably priced.
Amazingly priced, yeah. Very thick pool, guys. And then, like I said, the detail in this bad boy is incredible. And you got a incredible Cropsy mask, right? Which I've seen other ones out there that don't do a good job, but when it comes to looking just like the Burning, this is the one right here, man. So
captures how
I'm glad you brought two, so I'll take this one, you can take the other one. What a deal. I'm getting this is why I like it. That's why we hire this guy. So, all right, guys, there you guys go. A Justin Mabry Cropsey mask. This one uncut, and of course he does have a cut one as well, man. So, a
wearable,
whatever you want to call it. I guess it's not cut, but you know what I'm saying. It has an eye hole, and you got to squeeze over your head like a condom.
Yeah.
Weird. All right, so that being said, it's time to close the Mass Morgue door.